Kolabi or something like that. Ikolaba.
Ikolaba, that's around Gates, Agodi side.
Yes. It's Ikolaba. Yeah. It's Ikolaba. Yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're 7 minutes in. We're just gonna start, and others can join us, and they can also catch up on with the recording, right? All right, thank you all for joining us again. Like always, on behalf of your children and your family, I appreciate you for taking the time to be here, because you're doing an amazing job, because you care about them, right? Last week we talked about helping our children build emotional intelligence, and that was amazing. Today we're going to be talking about preventing parenting burnout, how to prevent parenting burnout and create routines that actually work. Okay, routine that your children can actually follow. I want to start by asking you questions. I would want you to type in the comment in the chat if you're with me. Which one of the following do you find yourself constantly reminding your children? Or asking, have you brushed your teeth? Have you gotten dressed? Put on your shoes? Have you packed your bag? Complete your homework? Turn off the screen? Get ready for bed and all of this, right? I would want to see that. I want to see that, because I know many parents are understable. All right, I am too. Oh, I should say I was, because now pick up things off the floor. Of course, oh my goodness, that is incredible. I mean, the first time my daughter picked something off the floor and she counted, I mean, when we started using when we started using Parentfully, and she picked up to 20 something and 30 something. I'm like, wait, I have to record this, because what? You mean to say this is the amount of times I used to say, pick that thing up. I see this here. Oh, I see that here. Oh my goodness. And then we wonder why we are tired as parents, because we carry all of these things in our head. We are the reminding system. We are the alarm system. We are the only one that notice things for the rest of the family. So of course it is exhausting, because even as you are sitting down, your mind continues to work, right? Your mind continues to work. You continue to see things that needs to be done. You continue to see things that your children are supposed to be doing that is not done, or that is done halfway, right? So parenting can feel really overwhelming if you're the one that is constantly telling them what to do, right? So today we want to find a way to make sure that our children know what to do, who needs to do what has to be done, and what time it has to be done by, right? And do it well. Know what it means to be done, right? I'm so sorry. Got a notification here. Okay, it's not important. Okay. So we need to know that, because we carry all of this in our minds and we are constantly reminding them, that is why we feel a little bit overwhelmed by parenting most of the time, right? So we are going to look today into how to create a better system for our family, so that things can be so that the responsibility can be shared, the mental load can be shared, right? So you can relieve yourself of some of those mental load already. When we have routines, it is not to say that we begin to care less, or that, or expecting our children to begin to have um, independence overnight. This is not going to, is not going to make your children become independent overnight. However, the goal is to step back from constantly having to remind them and begin to release independence to them gradually. So the goal here is not perfection, it is to be gradually step back. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, when you create a system, when you create the routines for them, you would expect that you would support them for a while you slowly give the responsibility back to them. So you're no longer responsible for them. Well, not for them, for the things that they have to do. Right? For the things that you have to do, you're still going to be responsible for them, right? So, and another thing is, we need to know that routine is more than just a checklist. We're not just going to put everything on the checklist and hand it to them, right? Many parents today, which I'm sure some of you would have a routine checklist already, right? So I know that I used to have one before Parentfully was ready, and we don't remember to use it. I still have to be the one to still, verbally tell them, go and brush, go and dress, go and do this. So some of you might currently have this checklist too that is not working, right? So today we're going to look into what makes routine fail, so that we can guide against those and make our routine work to make parenting easier for us, right? That is what we want to look into. Okay. So the first thing to pay attention to that makes many routine fail is lack of clear purpose. You need to ask yourself, what is the essence of creating this? Is this just because it's trendy? Is it because I want to reduce morning stress or afternoon stress? What is the purpose for it? You need to have that at the back of your mind. That is going to guide you to create a working routine. And a good routine would have a good starting point. It will have clear actions, it will have clear order. Again, you need to make sure that you are not using generic checklists, because it is created for an ideal situation. You need to create something that fits into your real situation. You need to consider your children's age, their personality. Is your child the type that doesn't move fast enough, or you need to consider their attention span and all of these things, right? And you need to be prepared to provide the right support. You don't just create the checklist and say, okay, you know what, this is what we're going to be doing, and you have to follow that. And then you wonder why the routine does not work. That is why it doesn't work. Okay, because you just create a list and you expect them to follow it. You need to be prepared to provide the right amount of support. Support might look like you put a picture of what is supposed to be doing alongside the writing, right? Even if your child can read, having a visual, children have different learning style. We might talk about that in another, on a separate note, right? So some children are visual. So seeing that, they just already know what to do without even having to read the text. And that is enough motivation for them. Another type of support you might need to provide is an alarm. You might actually have to physically set up an alarm for them. Luckily, we have that set up on Parentfully, so you don't have to worry about both the visual and the alarm system is on Parentfully routine system for you, right? Some other support you might have to provide is giving them exactly where things belong, providing and preparing storage for things, like, picking up things off the floor. Okay, so where does it go, right? Like pencils should have a dedicated place that it goes. Your dirty clothes have a dedicated bin for it. Some craft, see, they do craft and all of that. You don't know where it goes, so your house becomes, Everywhere you go, you find paper of crafts of children. You have it dedicated. Now I have one clear bag that is large enough to keep a lot, right? So everything goes there. I don't care what it is. You have done a craft, you're happy about it, you're proud of it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, you made this for me. This is so amazing. Thank you. Keep it for me. Keep it in the clear bag. Done. Right? So you need to prepare things like this, right? Make your routine visual, right? And then you need to prepare to practice. Okay, you need to prepare to practice with them. Some things that is obvious to you, like my 6-year-old should be able to do this, I should just tell them what to do and they know what to do. You might need to practice with them. So I need you to know that you may have to provide support. Okay, if you want your routine to not fail. So this is part of the reasons why many routines fail. Also, you need to have a consistent response. What happens if after you have practiced with them, you have explained it to them, you believe that now they understood what to do, and then they did it 1 or 2 days. So you have confidence that they can do it. And then on the third day, they forget something or it is not done. What is your response going to be? What would happen if they forget, they delay, or simply refuse? What are you going to do? You have to put a plan in place for that too. This is what is going to make your routine to not fail. All right. So the consistent response you will have for when they forget, delay, or refuse could be something like, give a gentle reminder, right? Of course, we're not going to be doing shouting. You're not going to be reminding them 10 times because it's going to defeat it's going to defeat the purpose of the routine. They'll just fall back on the usual, right? Oh, don't worry. If I don't follow my routine, my mommy will remind me until it is done. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to remember it. Oh, she will shout, but she will tell me what to do. They get used to your shouting and they wait for the 6th reminder before they take action. They wait for the 12th reminder before they take action because it is programming, right? It works and they don't have to bother. But you have to tell yourself, I'm not going to remind more than 1 or 2 times. You decide. You decide. Right? But we're not going to be doing shouting. We're not going to be reminding many times. We are going to calmly refer the child to the agreed routine. That's going to be our consistent response. I'm saying our because you are part of Parents Fully Family. Okay? We are going to calmly refer your child to the agreed routine. You notice that your child has missed a step of their routine or they have not even started the whole routine at all. You call them calmly. Even if you're angry, if you are boiling inside. Remember last week we handled that, right? We talked about emotional intelligence and how to control our emotions. You're going to control your emotion, even if you are boiling inside. Like, how could you forget? You already know what to do, right? You swallow that, breathe. Again, like we said in the last week, you can articulate it to say, I am really angry right now that you have forgotten to do this. Or I am really disappointed right now that you are refusing to do this, right? Articulate it, say it out loud. Just yesterday, I told my child, my feeling is telling me to give you like this. But because I am in charge of my emotion, I am not going to do that. So I am watching you and I'll continue to watch you until that is done. Okay. So I was recording a voice note and it was touching me because I was not on an actual call, right? It knows that when I'm on call or I'm doing this, you don't come to me. They already know that. But because it was a recording, I was recording a voice and it was tapping me, needing my attention, I completely ignored. But as I was ignoring, I was feeling like, just do like this for this boy. After I finished recording, I told him, this is what my emotion was telling me to do. But I'm not going to do that. Now, because you were not patient, you were disturbing while I was recording the voice notes, you are going to wait extra time. What he needs the attention for was for me to open something for him. You're going to wait extra time, 20 minutes extra time before that gets opened. Next time, what would you do? When you see that I'm talking, you wait, so that immediately I finish that, I can do it for you. You will not have to wait 20 minutes, right? Now, I was able to do that because I know I recognize the emotion I'm feeling, right? And I have planned what my response would be. My response will be, no matter what I am feeling, I will not let the emotion control me, and I will give a consequence that teach, not punish. Consequence that teach. Next time he doesn't want to wait the 20 minutes, of course. So he's going to know, no, don't let me disturb mommy so that I don't have to wait the 20 minutes, right? So that has taught him how to respond to that kind of situation next time. We have never had this kind of situation before. That's perhaps why he doesn't know how to react to it, because I was not actively talking to somebody on the phone. I am not actively in a meeting like this, right? So now he knows. So what I'm trying to say, referring to my personal experience, is for everything you notice in your child that needs to change, you need to plan what your response would be and be consistent with it. We are not going to be doing emotional parenting anymore. Like, just react to however you feel like you're boiling, you're frustrated. No. We're not going to be doing that, right? So a routine works when all the pieces we have mentioned come together, right? You put the list together of what it is that my family needs, not what my family needs. What my family needs might be different from what your family needs. What one child needs in their routine might be different in the same family. What child A needs in their routine might be different from what child B needs in their routine. So you need to consider your situation. You need to consider each child's needs, right? You need to make it in the right and clear order. You need to provide the right support. Teach them, coach them, show them. In fact, when you're introducing it to them, make it a family meeting. And don't just create the list, create with them. If you have a child that is old enough, like 5 years old and above, they can create the routines with you. When children participate actively in their instruction or in their own parenting, they take ownership of it better than just handing it to them. Like, you know what, this is what we are going to do, and you have to do it. If you don't do it, you'll be in trouble. No. Okay, you call them. Okay, you know what, I noticed that we have been very stressed every morning, and we are always, in a rush and having me yell. I don't want to do that anymore. I want us to do this a better way. So I want to create a routine for you. What do you think you should be doing every morning before we get out of the house to go to school? Have your child mention them. Oh, I need to brush. You write it down. Oh, I need to put on my clothes. That is good too. You do that. But before you put on your clothes, what do you have to do before you put on your clothes? I don't know. You fill in the blank. We need to shower and cream our body. Oh, okay, yes. You write it down, right? If your child is old enough to write it, have them write it. If they're not old enough to write, you write it for them, but you let them do the thinking with you. You already know what is going to go in there, but you're involving them. So you make it look like we are brainstorming together. Involve them and use the we language. I like to use we language a lot with my children, right? So this is what we are going to do, even though they are the ones that are going to do the action, right? This is what we are going to be doing. This is what we want to learn now. This is what we are working on. This is what the collective language. This is what we are going to do. Even if it's me that is going to do it on them, like the consequences, right? So this is what we are going to, this is what is going to happen when we do this, even though it is, if they do it. Understood? So the collective language brings and add to the feeling of responsibility, to the feeling of togetherness, and that helps a great deal in how they receive those instructions and carry out the responsibilities. Okay? So we have learned that these maybe 6 or 5 points that I've made are really important, right? So in order for our routine to not fail, we need to create the routine that is ideal, that is practical for our family and for each child, not an ideal family routine. You cannot just get a downloadable routine and say, okay, you know what, this is what we're going to be doing. Even on Parentfully, we have some set up for you just as a suggestion, something to get you started. But we also ensure to make it editable, and you can add more, right? So that you can truly personalize it. So yes, if you want to create a routine that your child can follow quickly, no complaint, and consistently, I mean to say, I was looking for the word consistently, right? You have to create a routine that is designed for your own family and for your own children, for your individual children, because again, no two children of the same parents in the same household might not even be the same. So you have to consider your child's age, your child's pace, the attention span, your work schedule, the available time, and the support that you're going to give them, right? So we begin where the family is and we build up from there, right? Even, yes, you are aiming that this is what should be happening, but you're not there yet. You have to start from where you are, from your current reality, okay? So if you make sure all of these things are in place, you are one step away from making your routine work and ensuring that it doesn't fail. The number two reason that makes routines fail, that we have to guide against to make our own routine work and our family can follow it, is that we put too much into one routine. You put too much because they are nice to have, or because we want to make it so granular. And then the list is so long that a young child feels overwhelmed. It feels like it is too much already. And for them to go and be ticking it or be checking, okay, I've done this, go back again, it becomes too difficult. And they just abandon it. And even you, the parent, to monitor those becomes something else. So the routine becomes abandoned. So you have wake up, make your bed, pray, brush teeth, bath, dress up, comb your hair, read, eat breakfast, do this. You need to aim to have not more than 6 items on your checklist. Maximum 7. If you can keep it even below 6, that would be nice. Work on not having more than 6 items. I understand there is maybe lots of things that you think are essential. You can even group things that follows the same flow. For example, for my family, and I'm a Muslim, right? We say azkar, that is prayer. So the first thing you do when you wake up, you say your prayer and you make your bed. So that is item 1, not 2. Not that you have to check, I did a prayer, and then check, I made my bed. Azkar, prayer, because you can be making your bed and say your azkar. You can say it right before you get out of bed. It's just maybe 5-10 seconds maximum. You're done with it, and then you make your bed. So together like that makes one item to check, right? The next item is to do their salat. So I pair that with brush, udu. Udu is to do the washing of face, hands, and stuff. The washing that we do before salat, right? So brush. It is in the same sink where you finish brushing, you do your wudu, and then you go and do your salat. I pair these 3 together as one check because it follows the same flow. It's just the same flow. It's not an extra thing. But it is not 3-step. It is not I brush, check. I do wudu, check. I do salat, check. Right? So these things that I've just mentioned now, these are like 5 steps, 5 checks, but they are now 2 checks for a child because the flow go together and match. Right? So they can view it as 1 step. I've brushed my mouth, do, and go do salat. Done. Easy. Right? So you need to be careful not to make the list long and intimidating for your child, especially if they are younger children, 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, even 7-year-olds, right? you want to guide against having long list. Make it short. Six is you should aim for six. You should aim for six or less, or maybe just make sure it's not long. If you would have like 8, 6, and 7, but 6 would be my target. Okay. So the routine does not feel too overwhelming for you and your child, and it becomes exhausting. Like you just abandon it. You need to understand that when something feels a little too hard or requires to feels, it might not even be like be that it is that difficult, right? Like what I just said now, these 5 steps still has to be taken, whether it is condensed into 2 check or it is actually in 5. Yes, for both morning and evening routine. For me, I saw your message. You can do, I'm just using morning routine as an example, right? So for all your routine, all single routine, you have to make them separate. Of course, morning routine here, after school routine here. When we enter, this is what you do, and in the evening, this is the time our evening routine is starting, or night routine, so to say. This is the time our routine is starting, and these are the things we will do. So, like I was saying, this morning routine, that these 5 things that I've condensed into 2, this thing still has to be done, but it is not a long list that already overwhelms a child. Yes? Okay. So we want to keep it short and follow it consistently. Okay, a routine that is followed consistently is more useful than a perfect routine that nobody can maintain. You don't have to, make a long list. In fact, some of the things that are on your list that are not essential, remove them until your child becomes very comfortable with the essential ones. Then you can, introduce some more gradually. Okay, another thing we need to guard against is giving broad instructions, right? Something like clean your room, behave yourself, get organized, prepare for school. What does that mean? Because you are an adult, you understand, yes, to get ready for school, I will do this, do this, do this, do that. You can organize it in your mind. Okay? Get organized. What does it mean? Because you're an adult, you can put it together. Okay, I'll put my things where they belong. I'll pack my bag. I will do this. I'll do that, right? But for your child, I know, our children are very smart these days, right? So we have seen them do some smart shit. And that kind of confuses us and think, oh, they know everything. Oh, no, they can do this. They're just refusing to do it. They don't. Their brain is still developing. Some things that are very obvious to you that you think, they might be able to do this, just because some certain areas they have exhibited smartness more than their age, right? You think that, they know this. No, they don't. So leave the assumption. If your child is excelling very well in some other areas that you are very proud of, great. But don't use that as a basis to think, oh, no, he must know this. Oh, because he's doing this, he must know this. Just categorize them as children. Know that they don't know. Understood? So don't give vague instruction like clean your room. Okay, I get into my room. The room is messy. Really, I need to clean it. But where do I begin? That is overwhelming for a child already. And they just forget about it. Imagine, even as an adult, right? You have seen, if it does not happen to you, you must have seen, pictures or, memes of children where they maybe put powder on their head and made a lot of mess, put rice and oil together and all of that, right? Even for an adult, if you walk into that situation, like, oh my God, where do I even want to begin cleaning this? Like, it feels like a lot already. Like you just want to abandon everything and maybe have somebody clean it if you can. Yes, that is how your child feels too. So they enter their room that is so messy, and they're like, okay, mommy asked me to clean or daddy asked me to clean. What do I do now? But to you, it feels like it's obvious. You get into your room, you put your clothes where they belong, you put your shoes where they belong, the pencils where they go, the papers where they go, and everything. But for your child, it is not as simple as that. It is overwhelming to be able to organize all of this. So you need to make the instructions not so vague and broad. We need to break it down for them. Put dirty clothes in the laundry basket. Put books on the shelf. Put toys in the toy basket or wherever they go, right? Straighten the bed. Put the papers in the trash or in the clear bag if you have, if you know, like the clear bag that I have, right? So you need to explicitly break it down. Don't make it all too vague. Like just give a sentence and expect that they already know what to do to get that sentence done. Like the clean up your room example that I just gave, right? Okay. So the fourth reason that routine fails, or the fourth thing that I'm going to that I want us to guide against to make our routine work would be that we sometimes expect routine to work without teaching it. Okay, we have to teach it. You're going to explain it. You will demonstrate it. You will practice it. Prepare to do all this, right? This is not going to take you more than 1 to 3 days for a lifetime of enjoyment of not having to constantly remind and all of that. I mean, that is not too much investment, right? Explaining to them, and like I said previously, first of all, engage them even, right? Engage them, let them participate in the creation of it, right? And then you explain to them why certain things has to be done and how it has to be done. You demonstrate it to them and demonstrate the order too, right? So you practice with them, and then you provide support, like we explained. Provide support, and you repeat that process the second day, the third day. Okay. Independence comes after support and practice, right? You have to give them supported practice before you expect independence from them to follow this routine by themselves. Okay. The number 15 is changing expectations. This is the number one thing that crumbles everything. If on Monday a child must follow the complete routine, right? Before they use a screen, before they have a privilege, for example, or before they have screen time. And then on Tuesday, because you're tired, you just need to keep the kids busy, you allow screen time before they finish their routine. And on Wednesday, your child refuses the routine and you don't mind because you just cannot be bothered, or because you're too tired. They abandon the routine and nothing happens. By Thursday, nobody knows whether the routine is still expected to be carried out, or it depends on mommy and daddy's mood, right? So you have to be consistent. You cannot be changing the expectation. You have to be consistent with the routine, with your response to their behavior towards it, right? Because children learn repeated patterns. Consistency does not mean doing everything perfectly, okay? But they need to know that this is consistently expected from me, and then they'll fall in line, okay? It means that your expectations remain clear even when the day is imperfect. You stay on business. This is still my expectation of you, and it has to be done, okay? The number 16 is that we use routine only when we are angry. So every other day, because your child did something else that is not related to routine, and you are happy with them, you feel, you know what, we can relax this time on the routine, right? But when you are angry, your routine has to be followed, right? Or you are angry with them about something, and then you included that in their routine. You know what, you have to be doing this, or a routine should not appear only when a parent is frustrated. If you suddenly introduce a rule while you're shouting, while you're, frustrated, your child may experience that routine as punishment. And nobody likes punishment. Not you, not me. Okay? So routine should be created during calm moments that you're happy together, that you're happy, your child is in a good place, and then you practice it before stressful moments actually happen. Okay? And whatever your response is going to be to them not following the routine or forgetting should be communicated beforehand too. So while you are showing them and discussing the routine, you discuss what action is going to be taken if the routine is not followed. So by using the parentfully routine system, for example, we have the points that you earn when you complete your morning routine. Now, in my case, what I do with that is if I have to remind you of your routine, you lose some point. You're still gonna do it if I remind you. You still do it. That is standard. That is my expectation of you. It still has to happen. But you not taking initiative to do it by yourself after we have practiced, you're used to it, is you lose some point. And every time I remind you, you lose a point. If I remind you today, you lose point. Tomorrow, you lose point. So they don't want to lose point. Because again, the point is not just them getting points. It's not just, it is, the point is now, is integrated into daily lives, right? So you have to earn everything, right? The only thing you get, whether you do right or wrong, is food and water, right? To get snacks in my home right now, since 3 weeks, you have to have points. You're not going to spend your points on the snacks, but you must have points. If you have less than 50 points, no snacks. In fact, no play. Say playing with your body or whatever. If you do not have up to 50 points, you will sit down on the sitting place is the chair I'm sitting right now. Okay? Is in the living room. You can see what other people are doing and everything, but you cannot participate if you don't have up to 50 points. So imagine you cannot even play freely if you have not done what is right. Right? Because your morning routine gives you 10 points, afternoon routine gives you 10 points, and this is something else that I'm going to mention to you. What I do, I'm telling you what I personally do, so you know, if you want to take, expo from it, I give them 100-point start off. So you know what, we're starting this, and this is what we're going to do. To begin with, I'm going to give you 100-point start off. This was not my idea. This is why it is important that you engage your children in this. It was my son's idea. Right? Say, okay, after I lay down the rule, explain some of the things, okay, mommy, but we are starting with 0 points. So until we actually do some other things, we cannot get some things, but we didn't do anything wrong before that we cannot get other things. So I think you should give us start off points. I said, okay, that makes sense. So I did. It didn't mention the amount, but it noticed from everything I have said, we have agreed, but this is lacking. So I put it, give them 100 points to start with. Say, okay, now this is fair. I said, okay. So, if I was just a parent that just dictates, okay, so this is what we're going to do, he would carry that in his mind. If I was running a home where children have no say, okay, it is parents' way or the hard way, he will carry it in his mind, or mommy is not fair. That is also going to affect the resistance that you get on the routine. But he was able to give his feedback because my home is a safe space, okay? And I actually find it very, English word is escaping my mind right now. I find it very useful. Useful is not the word I'm looking for, but you get the point. So I gave them 100 points start off. Now, you cannot tell me why on top of that 100, you are not getting more points to consistently have 50 points so you can have snacks, have playtime. You're not going to spend your points doing those things, but if you want to have candy, you want to have ice cream, you want to have extra, you want to have screen time, you want to have this, you have to spend points for those, right? But what I'm saying is some basic things that a child has to do happens only after you have done your routine. But this, the good thing about this is I did not even word it like this, right? It's just less than 50 points, you cannot do this. And if we have not completed, check off each of the routines on Parentfully, that is not happening either, right? So with these rules in place, that is my consistent follow-up. That is my consistent response. Oh, mommy, can I have this? Okay, let's check. We check Parentfully. Oh, yes, you can have it. You have it. You've earned it. You've earned it. So it is no longer based on my emotions. It was never, but not never, but for a long time, it has not been. I'm not parenting from emotion. It is not because, oh, I am angry with you now, so all of the things you have done before is now being ignored because I am angry. No, you have a lot of points. You have 1,000 and something points. You want ice cream, and we have ice cream in the house. By all means, go get it. Even if something else is bothering me or whatever, no, it doesn't affect the routine and the point system. Oh, mommy, can I have this? Well, let's check. You check. And now I have set them up on the third-party access on their own system. So they even know the points that they have. So they just announce to me, mommy, I want to claim this reward. Okay, go ahead. So they can claim their own reward, but they cannot add points, right? On the third-party access. So you can set your own you can set your child up on their routine on a separate device. That's the third-party access have limited accesses for children, right? So they cannot see some other things, but they can see their own routine. When they do it, they can check it off, and all that. So you cannot be doing routine yes or no, depending on your feelings at the time. It has to be a system. That is why we are talking about system. When you have created a system, you don't have to be the one that is deciding this is what to do, this is what to do. You already decided at a system level. You are a leader. You should not be micromanaging. You should not be micromanaging. You have decided at the system level, and now you let the system run the whole. Now, I'm going to tell you this for a fact. When you do this, even with my own children, okay, when you do this for the first few days, for the first 1 week, you expect some failures. Maybe they genuinely forgot. Maybe they just do not feel like, and they are hoping that they will get away with it. Again, like we said earlier, you must have created what your response would be. So when that happens, you just said, okay, so you have decided to do like this. Now this is what is going to happen. And you still have to do it. So the first day, the second day, they push back. The third day, they push back. They are getting the same responses. They know that now I'll get penalized, and I still have to do it anyway. So why do it and get penalized instead of do it and get profit? Right? And now they begin to do it themselves. Just yesterday, my son was saying, mommy, now it is difficult to get higher points, because when we started, they were getting points like thousands. So now it's difficult to get points because the house is always tidy. There are less things to pick and tidy. I said, that's right. That's right. Now it is just the basic routine points that they are getting because the house is mostly tidied, because they tidy it, right? Now I told him, yeah, that's right. We will now find another way to make sure you're getting points, right? So it will no longer be routine points only, so they can keep, have something to aspire. So this is now something they're aspiring to get. And my son will say, oh, now I am rich. They are excited about the point accumulation because of what the points are getting them. It's like you're having money to buy whatever you want without permission. That's what I told them. When I was introducing to them, I say, I want to give you something that you do not need my permission to get whatever you want anymore. Yes, it's Parentfully come. Oh, Parentfully is ready. I mean, they know we are building Parentfully, right? Oh, Parentfully is ready. Let's see it. Blah, blah, blah. I open it to them. I say, see, your money, if you do your morning routine, you do your afternoon routine, you get points like this, like that, and we're going to build your routine together. They already know, what to do and all of that. So we put it in together and all of that. It was my son that was typing it because he can type already. He's 8-year-old, and all of that. So we did this together. But the first statement that I said established the foundation for us. Okay, they associate it with freedom. They do not associate it with punishment. They do not associate it with, oh, I will not be able to play when I don't have enough points. They associate it with, I'm going to be able to have every treat that I want without my mommy saying no or yes. I decide when I can get it. So their mind is fixed on accumulating the points so they can keep getting whatever they want. I win. They win. It's a win-win. All right? So if you create a solid system, you give the responsibility to your children. You are not carrying those responsibility on yourself. You reduce your mental load. You feel parenting lighter. You can love up more on your children. You will no longer be consistently, disappointed, angry, or whatever with your children. All right? So the Parentfully routine system, that is the acronym routine, ROUTIN. Okay? The R stands for recognize the repeated stress. So when you're going to set your family routine, after having guiding against all of these reasons why routine failed that we have discussed, now you need to set your routine following this acronym routine. Right? So the R in the routine is recognize the stress, the repeated stress. Ask yourself, what am I constantly reminding my child to do? That should be your starting point. It is not morning routine, afternoon routine, night routine, whatever routine that you think you want to create. The goal is immediate relief for me and my family. So what is your highest stress point? What am I constantly reminding my child to do? That's the first thing you want to build. Is it when they come back from school? Is it the night time? Is it morning? Right? What part of the day causes you the most frustration? What do you usually begin? When do you usually begin shouting and rushing? At what point? What is it that they need to do at that time? Those are the things you want to get into your routine first. So same morning routine. It's nice to pray, yes. It's nice to make their bed, yes. It's nice to brush their teeth, yes. It's nice for them to shower, yes. But what are the most essential things that if they don't do this, we cannot step out of the house? Those are the things you put in your routine first, even if there are 2 or 3. Not the ideal, okay, we do this, and when we do that, and then we do that. No. I want you to leave this webinar clear and relieved. So what the first thing you want to do right now is recognize your repeated stress pattern. Identify that, and then you build what is it that you need the most that will create the most relief for you. So let's take morning routine, for example. If it is morning that is your most stressed part of the day, streamline it. My child has to brush their teeth, has to have clothes on them, because they cannot go to school with pajamas, right? You don't want that. Right? They need to have brushed their teeth, put on clothes, and have breakfast. Even if breakfast is not essential, maybe they can get breakfast from school, or they can eat it on the way, or something. Skip it. Now, get only the 3 most essential things. That is what you want to start your morning routine with, before other things that are nice to have now begin to feature into your routine gradually. For now, you want to keep the list as short as possible. Less than 6 will be my recommendation for a child that is not used to following a routine. For me, my children were used to following a routine, even though it was, pasted on the wall, and they sometimes forget. I have to give them nudge. Like I said in many videos or during this live previously too, my children are obedient children, right? That makes parenting easier for me because I tackle the first thing. Before you start building any building block, you have to deal with that first. You have to know that your children are obedient. However, I still have to tell them every single thing, right? So yes, they are obedient. If I say, now it's time to do this, you have to go and do that, they'll do it. But then I have to tell them the next thing too. And then I have to tell them the next thing too, right? So at the time, it did not feel like so much stress for me because they are obedient. I just tell them once, I don't have to repeat and get frustrated and then shout and all of that, right? But when we started using Parentfully and I noticed how much they do and how much relief I am even more now, I'm like, oh, wow. This is how much, how much instructions I've been given, right? So, for example, in the morning, if morning is the highest stress point for you, so you pick the most essential things that must happen, right? So that you can keep the list very short for them. And so it can be easier for them to get through. After they are used to it, you can bring the nice to have into it, right? Again, I'm just using morning routine as an example. If your own high stress point is the night, you can do that, right? So like things like shower and all of that, you can have them shower the night before they go to bed, right? If you prefer that your children should shower 2 times a day, during the winter when it's cold, we shower only 1 time, right, in the night. So in the morning, I have them sleep longer. That's fine for me. But in summer, like this time, we shower 2 times. You shower in the night before you sleep. You shower in the morning. My children say, "Mommy, but I did not get dirty during the night." I say, "Yes, I know, but you still have to shower because the weather is bad it's not very good on the skin. So the more time you shower, the better for your skin this time, because you put lotions, you put sunscreen, and those things attract dust, they attract what do they call it? Free radicals, right? And then my children are AFCAS, right? You begin to see black this thing under their eyes and stuff. So we update or upgrade our hygiene routine during this time. Yeah. So you find what works for you. You find what works for you. What I'm doing in my home is not necessarily what you would do. I'm just using myself as an example so you can, for better understanding of the concept we're discussing. So you recognize the stress pattern and build your routine around it. Only the most essential things. That's the hard part of that, right? Number 2 is decide what success should look like. Do not only just create a list task. Decide what you're trying to achieve. For example, you want your child to complete the essential morning actions with only 1 reminder instead of 6 separate reminders, right? Like brush your teeth, or put on your clothes, or put on the lotion, or do this. No. What do you really want to achieve? You have to understand that, right? Then the third thing would be you in the routine framework would be that understand what your child needs. Before deciding that the child is difficult, or they just don't listen, or this is, understand, what does this child need? Does my child understand the routine? Can they remember all of the steps by themselves? Is the routine appropriate for their age? You're not trying to get a 4-year-old to do routine that is supposed to be for a 8-year-old. All right? Is there enough time for them to complete this? If you're rushing out of the house in 30 minutes or in 1 hour, and your child is, slower in the morning, and you have a whole list of things for them to do, would they be able to achieve that? Is the environment helping with that? All right? If you have only one bathroom and you guys have to shower one after the other, is there enough time? Is the environment, convenient for this routine that I'm building? Do they need picture, alarm, or physical preparation for that, for it to kick in, to be done? Is that something that is making this routine particularly difficult for us? So you need to observe these things and remove the blockers. Okay? For a child that moves slowly, in the morning, they may need, to prepare their clothes the night before, so that in the morning you can remove the decision and time wasting on what do I wear, right? Or you can even have them prepare the clothes for the whole week on the weekend, right? It depends on what you want. You're going to have to decide this for your family, like I said, but on the higher level, on the system level, so that you're not having to make that decision every day. Okay? Or put their school materials prepared the night before. You might want to make your child prepared the night before if you feel that, oh, this child is very slow in the morning, so that you have fewer things to do in the morning. A good system reduces unnecessary difficulty. You don't want to make it even more difficult for yourself just because you're trying to prove a point that you have to follow this routine. You want to build a routine that works in real life for your family, not an ideal one, not the one that I'm using, not the one that somebody else is using. Your own is what you want to create. Then the T in the routine is turn expectations into clear action. You want to write only the essential steps first, right? And then you use one clear action for each step. For example, the morning routine can be, like I said, for myself, for example, you say as a Kara, make your bed. The next thing is brush your teeth, udu and salat. These things are one flow together, right? So the things that are one flow together, you put them together so your child can just associate them together, yeah? Get dressed, eat breakfast, take school bag, put on your shoes. That's like 5 items. Done. Done. You want to avoid vague instructions like be responsible, be time conscious, no, they cannot. Not because they don't want to, they cannot, they're just children. If you have to set an alarm for them that counts down, I currently do that outside, from my phone. I will put the time for the task, for all the morning routine, 30 minutes, and then you use another 30 minutes for breakfast or whatever before we get out of the house. Now, because I am doing that, we are going to also build that into Parents Fully. So you can, when you open your morning routine, for example, I kept using morning routine, but it applies to every other thing too. So when you open your morning routine, for example, you get the option to start a timer. Yes. So your children can actually follow through and be also time conscious without the vagueness of it. But for now, you can use alarm system. As a timer from your phone, or from, if you have a regular, analog timer, set the timer there. So while this time is ongoing, this is the time you have to do this, and that. 3-4 things. In fact, the fact that the things are less motivates them. Oh, it's just 3 things that I have to do. That's a lot of time, right? And it is actually indeed a lot of time. I booked the 30 minutes because I do not want to stress over, oh, you're being slow, you're being that. I give accurate time, right? So a child should be able to look at each step and know exactly what to do. If you ever think that they will not be able to know it, it is not clear enough. You either have to explain it to them and make sure that they understood it. Like after you explain, you say, what did I say? So they explain it back to you. so you know that they have good understanding. Now, the I of the routine is identify the trigger and support. That is, what support do you need for them? Like the alarm things that I've mentioned, you have to set alarm for them. They have to prepare clothes for the night before. They have to put their shoes in a certain place so they can find it easily or know which one to choose, completing the field practice together for like a few days before you surrender the responsibility to them. You want to give one quick prompt, maybe when the alarm sounds, you can tell them, okay, that is alarm for your bedtime. I still do that, right? For the nighttime routine, actually, when the alarm rings on their device, I tell them, oh, I hear the alarm. What does that mean? Oh, it's time for our night routine. And then they go to that, right? So, it is not needed. It's just that I cannot keep my mouth shut, if you know what I mean. The alarm rings, and then I'm like, the alarm is ringing. What does that mean? They fill in the blank, and then they go to it, right? So you want to provide supporting, you want to provide support for the routine. So it does not mean that your child you're not expecting your child to just be independent overnight. You want to provide support over time, and then you slowly back off, step back. All right. The N in the routine is notice and reinforce progress. Children are more likely to repeat behavior that is noticed. Okay. And be specific when you say that. Instead of saying good job, you can say, oh, you started your routine as soon as you hear the alarm. Wow, I am impressed. Well done. Right? Instead of just saying, oh, good job, you did well. What exactly did I do well? You started your routine once the alarm rang. That is the exact thing. So you be specific, you notice, and you reinforce the progress. So they know, my mommy noticed when I started this myself, and she's happy about it. Children want to do things that impress you, basically. So make it easy for them to impress you by letting them know what exactly impresses you. You know what I mean? So things like, oh, you remember to put your bag where it belongs without me asking you. I like that. Oh, my mommy liked that. Tomorrow they do it again. You completed 5 steps of your 7 steps routine without reminder. That is really good. I want to see you complete everything tomorrow without me telling you. You will get that. You will get that because you're not blaming them or punishing them for the 2 that they did not complete. You press for the 5, and then you said, tomorrow I want to see the whole thing complete. You will get it. You will get it. It's almost guaranteed, right? Parentfully can also make progress visible through completion tracking, and the points earning. For me, the point has been amazing. And the fact that they can get extra points, it's not just you do the routine, you get the point. Because check it, I have only 3 routines: morning, after school, and evening. And of course, I use the routine for chores too, because they have weekend chores that I put in there too. So if you check it, they have like only 30 points in a day, but you see those extra things that they get. And the beautiful thing that I did is when you do not complete your actual routine, the other extra points that you earn cannot be imputed. So they naturally follow the routine. It's a no-brainer in this case, right? It's a no-brainer because they want to accumulate these points. My children will say, oh, I am richer. I am getting rich, because they associate it with it. For them, it's like money, having money to buy whatever you want. That is what I have designed it to be. Okay, so you notice and you reinforce, and then you get more from them. Now, the E in the routine is evaluate and improve the system. Now, this routine that I'm talking about, we have started it only 3 weeks ago. I have refined that routine maybe 5 or 6 times because the flow wasn't just All of this routine, the routine that I just used for an example for you, is what we have found to now be perfect for us. But before we arrive at this, we have had to readjust it because the flow was just not working for us enough, right? So you want to evaluate. Okay, so we have set the routine now. Great. Oh, this was not working because we find that, okay, this has to happen first before that, or when this does not happen first and then that happen, we had to adjust it to fit into our own reality. Okay, so you need to ask yourself, is it too long? Is one step unclear? Does it begin at the wrong time? Is there enough time to actually finish with these things? Does my child need more practice? Am I expecting independence too quickly? Is it consistent? Of is it easy to be consistent and follow through? Is it clear? Is it unclear? What can we simplify? You have to evaluate this routine and adjust it again and again. Maybe you would have to do it only one time. Maybe you would have to do it 2, 3 times. Maybe you have to do it 5 times like me, right? The bottom line is it is not rigid. It has to flow with your reality. You can adjust it until you find the perfect rhythm. Now I'm at the perfect rhythm, right? And I can tell you for a fact, I just got the perfect rhythm 2 weeks ago. For the first week, we were tweaking and changing. Okay, so I'll put this. And when I expect my children to do something and it's not done, and they say, but it's not on my parents' will, I say, yes, that's true. So I would go and adjust it again, move things around, and if they are doing things that I think that's unnecessary, but it's on my to-do list, I'll adjust it again. Okay, so you may need to do this. It's not because your routine is failing, it's because you are adjusting to your reality. So bear that in mind, okay? It is about creating a system, observing what happens, okay, and improve it until it works for your family. So imagine if I had given you the first the first one or the second one of the routine that I built and say, okay, this is the routine you should use. I changed it eventually, even though I created for myself and it still didn't work for me. I had to change it again. So you cannot use somebody else's routine. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to create your own, find out which one works for you, and then you stick with it over time. Again, as your children grow, as their ages changes, their needs, the responsibility will grow. So you continue to update this, right? So we have come to the end of the webinar for today, and my hope is that you have understood exactly what to prevent and exactly what to do, what to prepare for, to create a routine that works for you. That works for you. So you can be consistent and raise responsible children. Again, do not expect overnight independence. And if you have any questions for me, I am open to take questions. Okay, in the absence of no question, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that now you understand how to set up your routine. And in case you find if you have any question later, you can send me personal message. You can send me DM, and you can send message to the group. I am active on there, and I'll make sure that I check it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, the expectation, what is, ask yourself this all the time. Just before we round up, I want to leave you with this, right? What expectation is currently living in your head? I want you to write it down and ask yourself what expectation is, how can you turn those expectations into a simple system that your child can understand and follow? If you find any of these questions difficult to answer, or you don't know how to actually turn them into a system, I am offering you, everyone on this call right now, one-on-one time, if you ever need it. I'm offering you that, and we can set up your system together. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Once again, I appreciate you on behalf of your family, and have a nice day. I'll see you again next week. If you have a particular topic you want us to discuss, or to elaborate on, feel free to drop it in the group too. I would be sure to attend to it, and maybe I can create a video on it for you, or we can address it on a webinar. All right. Have a nice day now. Bye.